Hello and welcome to a new tutorial. I am so hyped about today's pattern as it is one of my favorite patterns. It's a basket bag. I always wanted one and so I made one. The full written pattern you can find it at my website, link in the description box below. My inspiration to make this pattern came from Zara and this amazing bag they had on their website. To make this handbag you will need some raffia or paper yarn, or maybe it has some other name in another country, but is sold on Amazon by 500 grams per skein or unit. I will leave for you the link to the one I bought and also the leather handles and a 2.5 mm hook. You will find the links to all the materials needed in the description box below. We will start to crochet the oval base. For that I crocheted 35 chain stitches. Then I skipped the first chain and crocheted on the second chain from the hook a single crochet. A marker at the first single crochet will help a lot. Then I continued crocheting one single crochet stitch on each chain until I had in total 33 single crochet stitches. At the last chain stitch I increased with 3 single crochet stitches. So at the last stitch I crocheted 3 single crochet stitches in one stitch. I have put a marker at the first single crochet stitch, which will help to remind me where the 3 increases at the side of the oval base are. Then we crochet on the other side of the chain base. The next stitch will be on top of the 33rd single crochet stitch I did on the other side. As you can see, the first single crochet on the other side corresponds to the 33rd single crochet stitch on the top side as shown. I continued crocheting single crochet stitches until I had 32 single crochet stitches at the end of the row, not counting here the 3 single crochet stitches that we increased. At the last stitch of the row, where we have the marker, I crocheted 2 single crochet stitches in one stitch, as shown. These are 2 increases for the other side of the oval base. The third increase is at the marker, which we crocheted as first stitch of the first round. Then one chain, which will raise the round, and we can start crocheting the second round. For the second round, I followed the pattern: 2 single crochet stitches at the first stitch, right there where I have the marker, as that is my third increase of the side. I kept the marker throughout the whole crochet of the base as it helps a lot on knowing where your increases are. Then I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches until I arrived at the other side of the round where I have 3 increases. For the side of the oval base, I crocheted 2 single crochet stitches on each stitch 3 times. Now I worked on the other side of the round and I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches. I placed a marker where the second section with 32 single crochet stitches is to help me out with the counting for the other rounds. Once 32 single crochet stitches were finished, I had to crochet the pattern for 1 increase 2 times, because at the end of each round I have 2 increases, since 1 increase is at the beginning of each round. So I crocheted 2 single crochet stitches on each stitch, in total 4 single crochet stitches for the second half circle side of the oval base. And this is how my work looks like. Then one more chain and I started the pattern for the third round. One single crochet at the first stitch and 2 single crochet at the second stitch. This is the pattern of 1 increase at the third round. Then I kept crocheting 1 single crochet on each stitch until I had in total 32 single crochet stitches. Once I arrived at the first half circle side of the base, I crocheted the pattern of 1 increase 3 times. So, 1 single crochet in the first stitch, then 2 single crochet on the second stitch. And I repeated this pattern 3 times until I arrived at the second horizontal pattern where the number of the stitches is always the same. So I crocheted next 32 single crochet stitches. Once I finished 32 single crochet stitches, I arrived at the second half circle of the base, where I have only 2 increases left, since the third one is always at the beginning of the round. So I repeated the pattern, 1 single crochet on the first stitch and 2 single crochet on the second stitch. I crocheted this pattern 2 times. Then I crocheted 1 chain and started the 4th round. So I start always with 1 increase, which has the pattern 1 single crochet on the first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch and 1 single crochet on the third stitch. Next, I crocheted on the first horizontal side 32 single crochet stitches. Once arrived on the first half circle of the base, I crocheted the pattern for 1 increase. 1 single crochet on the first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch, 1 single crochet on the third stitch. I repeated this pattern 2 more times. After I finished crocheting the first half circle, I continued crocheting 32 single crochet stitches on the second horizontal side of the base. At the end of the 32 single crochet stitches, I crocheted the pattern of 1 increase 2 times, since there are 2 increases at the second half circle of the base, which is 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch, 1 single crochet on the third stitch. At the end of the 2 increases, I always crochet 1 chain and I started the pattern for the 5th round. Since the rounds start with an increase, I crocheted the pattern 1 single crochet on the first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch, 1 single crochet on the third stitch and 1 single crochet on the fourth stitch. Then I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches on the first horizontal side of the base. At the first half circle of the base, I repeated the pattern of 1 increase 3 times, which is 1 single crochet on the first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch, 1 single crochet on the third stitch, 1 single crochet on the fourth stitch. Then, for the second horizontal side, I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches, and at the end I repeated the pattern of 1 increase 2 times at the second half circle of the base and 1 chain at the end. Then I started the 6th round with a pattern of 1 increase, 1 single crochet on first stitch, 2 single crochet on second stitch, 1 single crochet on the next 3 stitches. Then, on the first horizontal side of the base, I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches. Once I finished the 32 stitches, I crocheted the first half circle of the base, repeating the pattern for 1 increase 3 times. Then, 32 single crochet stitches on the second horizontal side of the base. And in end, I repeated the pattern of 1 increase 2 times at the second half circle of the base, closing the pattern of the 6th round with 1 chain. For the 7th round, I crocheted the pattern of 1 increase, 1 single crochet on first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch, 1 single crochet on the next 4 stitches. Then I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches and I arrived at the first half circle of the base, where I repeated the pattern of 1 increase 3 times. After that, I crocheted 32 single crochet stitches at the second horizontal side of the base, and I repeated the pattern of one increase 2 times for the second half circle of the base and one chain at the end. For the 8th round, 1 single crochet on the first stitch, 2 single crochet on the second stitch, and 1 single crochet on the next 5 stitches. This is the pattern for one increase at this round. Then 32 single crochet stitches on the first horizontal side, and I crocheted the pattern of one increase 3 times for the first half circle of the base. 32 single crochet stitches on the second horizontal side, and I repeated 2 times the pattern of one increase at the second half circle of the base, and one chain at the end of all. The 8th round was the last round for the base. Now we work upwards to crochet the side of the bag. I changed to half double crochet since it's a higher stitch and I could crochet the side easier, but feel free to use double crochet for a more higher stitch in case you want to. So now at the 9th row I work with half double crochet, so yarn over, insert the hook at the first stitch of the round, pull a loop, yarn over again, and pull a loop through all the 3 loops on the hook. Continue crocheting one half double crochet on each stitch all around the base. In this round we do no increases, and feel free to take out all the markers. Once you arrive at the end of the 9th round, do not crochet one chain like we did at the base. From now on, we will work in spiral, which means that the last stitch of the round will never be in the same level with the first one. Continue crocheting the 10th round with half double crochet stitch all around, same as the 9th round. Once you arrive at the end of the 10th round, your work will look like this. I took 2 markers and I placed them without any counting just with the eye on both sides of the half circles, since I will make increases on each side every 2 rows. So at the 11th round I continued crocheting 1 half double crochet on each stitch until I arrived at the first marker, where I crocheted 2 half double crochet in 1 stitch. I continued crocheting 1 half double crochet on each stitch to the second marker, where I crocheted again 2 half double crochet in 1 stitch. This is how my work looked like once the 11th round was finished. From now on, I continued crocheting rounds with half double crochet, but every uneven round I made 1 increase on each side where I had the marker. I continued crocheting 37 rounds in total. Once in a while the markers where I crocheted the increases would move out from the center where I placed them, but I kept replacing them back at the center once in a while and continued crocheting the rounds same as the previous ones. So once I replaced the markers on the 37th round, I had some more stitches left to finish the half, and as you can see, I crocheted them with a single crochet, since now I want to level up the last round because this is my last round. So I will continue crocheting until nearly the half of the other side with single crochet, trying to level up the other side same as the other half. As you can see, I arrived at the right point where both sides of the bag line up perfectly, so I made 2 or 3 slip stitches at the end. And now I cut the raffia and hidden the end with a tapestry needle. And this is how my work looks like. Now I need to attach the handles. First, I placed them on the bag and I fixed them with whatever yarn I had in hand, just to have them in place when I sewed them. With a tapestry needle and the same raffia, I started sewing with a very simple stitch, as you see. I sewed like this both handles, and here is the final results. So, how does it look?